GM and welcome back to Solana Floor News. While degens are busy panicking about alt season and dips and rotations, institutions and publicly traded companies like Sol Strategies are secretly spending millions of dollars on Sol. So for anyone on the verge of panic selling after a little bit of volatility, here's what the news actually means for us and the trenches. Today we're taking a closer look at Sol Strategies, a publicly listed Canadian company with the ticker symbol HODL, and they've been ramping up their Sol purchases aggressively, because they now hold around 190,000 Sol, worth about $40 million. Now, before we continue and figure out why this is extremely significant given the market downturn we saw last week, we have covered Sol Strategies and institutional adoption more broadly in previous videos. So if you do want to stay updated on all the latest from the Solana ecosystem, you can subscribe now to get notified. Alright, Sol Strategies, I know what you're thinking. Why would a publicly traded Canadian company buy so much Sol, especially when Trump is threatening to make Canada the 51st state? But hear me out, because all jokes aside, Sol Strategies isn't doing anything radically new here. They're not reinventing the wheel in any way, shape or form. They're actually becoming Solana's version of MicroStrategy by echoing Michael Saylor's aggressive Bitcoin purchases. Between January 19th and 31st, the firm acquired around 40,000 Sol, and that cost them about 14.3 million Canadian dollars. All in all, they're now sitting on almost 190,000 Sol, which they originally bought for about 48.7 million Canadian dollars. And in case you're wondering, that position is now worth a handsome 63.7 million Canadian dollars. But what's even more interesting than that is that their CEO Leo Wold recently made it very clear that they aim to acquire and stake their Sol to secure the network. Absolutely no mention of selling. And that's exactly what they've done by delegating $363 million worth of Sol already. Now you might be thinking, okay, what's the big deal? They clearly have a bunch of money and they want to buy Sol. Well, the answer is quite simple. Names like Franklin Templeton, who are among the world's largest institutions, have already bet big on Solana becoming the home for future financial systems, for payments, and of course for AI agents. So when a publicly traded company like Sol Strategies starts throwing $40 million at an asset, it is a clear signal that institutional players see serious long-term value in Solana, kind of like MicroStrategy did with Bitcoin. And we only need to go back as far as 2020 and look at that chart to see the astronomical returns that they've generated for investors in just 4 short years. And here's the kicker, right? The new White House crypto and AI czar David Sachs, who happens to be an early Solana investor by the way, is making headlines again today after announcing that they will prioritize a strategic Bitcoin reserve.
One of the things that the president instructed us to do was to evaluate the idea for a Bitcoin reserve.
Now with a Solana ETF approval looking likelier by the day, we can only imagine what happens when we see a whole list of companies like Sol Strategies and they start adding Solana to their balance sheets. The same way huge companies like Tesla, so while some of us are understandably busy panicking over every little dip, these huge companies are quietly stacking up Sol for the long run.
And the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto.
And just a friendly reminder in case you needed one, do not let the day-to-day volatility shake you out of your highest conviction plays. I want to thank you for tuning into Solana Floor. Make sure to subscribe for any future videos and insights from the Solana ecosystem, and I'll see you next time for more of the very latest.